All right.
Just wait a second.
All right. Just before I go to dinner, the girl I'm dating is right there. So if I keep smirking and like looking over to this side, I think she wants to go. But just before we go, this is the final video for this little series that I was shooting. So I want to talk about my 3 favorite poker stories. So random stories that happened in my early poker career that I find interesting and tell often. I know you probably find interesting as well. The first one has to deal with cheating. Okay, so see, I keep looking in that direction and she's making me laugh. The first one is with cheating, and basically, all right, so I'd like to say like 5 years ago, I'm at a game with a bunch of NYU kids. So a bunch of NYU kids created a game on 59th Street. I don't know if anybody else has played this game. So it was on 59th and 2nd, I think. 59th and 2nd. It was an apartment. I knew they were NYU kids because they said they went to NYU and they had the fucking NYU posters everywhere and the little purple banners. So I found the game on Craigslist and I went to the game. It was a simple $1, $2 game. It was when I was first started playing live. And it was when I was starting to get pretty decent at poker and understand certain things. And I was an okay player, I'd assume. And we're playing the game and they did a couple crazy things. So like somebody laid down, what do you do? He laid down like a full house against somebody else's quads and like showed it proudly. Like, oh, I know you have quads, and flipped over his cards. And I was just like, these players aren't good enough to kind of see that. So that kind of struck me as odd. And they did this like 2 or 3 times, and I knew something was up. So I knew there was some sort of cheating. What had happened, it ended up being that the deck was marked. So I don't know if I have a card. You know those decks that look like they look like the North Star. It's like it comes like this and like that. Like it was those decks, and what they did was they marked the tips of the star different like colors using a very light like crayon or something, and you could see they marked face cards and stuff. So I saw it. I figured I have an ace and I see it's marked. I have a king and I see it's marked. So I figured they were cheating. So what I do is when one of them gets up to go to the back room, it was in their apartment. One of them gets up to go to the back room. I followed him, and I was like, listen, man, I know you're cheating. I see the deck's marked. Just give me 3 times my buy-in. You know, I've been a winning player here anyways. I don't care. Just give me $1,000, and you could hustle people all you want, and I'm out of here. So the kid's like, I was like, listen, man, I fucking see it right there. Like, I started getting mad. I was like, I want to run out there and tell everybody, just give me my money, and I'll be on my way. I don't want to ruin anybody's hustle, you know, whatever. If they want to hustle people. So they gave me $1,000 in my hand and said, all right, man, just please don't say anything. So as I'm walking out, like I see all the other players, I have a little change of heart. Like I feel kind of guilty. Like, you know, poker, I'm not a fan of cheating. I think you should play the game straight up. And so, so I was like, I don't know why, out of spontaneous. I was like, guys, by the way, the deck's marked. Everyone's cheating. So they're like, what? And there was one like gigantic motherfucker at the table that like flipped out. He was wearing like he was wearing like a Brooklyn tank top. He had like gigantic arms, and he looked like he wanted to kill the kids. And that was like my response. But I like pulled him out. I was like, no, let's go. They were terrified, and just the fear in their eyes, I'll never forget it. If you're watching this video, once again, you got what you deserved. Cheating's not good. The second thing had to deal with at the Borgata. I was at the Borgata playing, I think 5-10. It was relatively high, 5-10 or maybe 10-20, probably 5-10 if it was like 2 years ago. So playing 5-10 no limit with like I think $2,000 or $3,000 effective stacks. And I personally, I can't believe I'm saying this on video camera, but I hate when people stare at me at a poker table. It drives me insane. So what I try to do is stop them. So the way of stopping it is like I'll make them really friendly. So like I'll blow kisses at them. So when they're looking at me like mwah, and try to get them to break the stare, right? Or sometimes I'll tell other people at the table like I think that I'm not gay, but I think he is, and I think he likes me. And you know, sometimes it stops people. So there's one guy who was staring at me nonstop, and I hated it. So I was trying to stop him, and his girlfriend was right next to him. So I start with my usual banter of trying to stop them from, you know, I blow kisses, doesn't work. So I started flirting with the girl right in front of the boyfriend, right? So basically what I do is I look at the girl and I'm like, you know, I think your boyfriend finds me attractive, and, you know, it's probably not working out between me and you, but I find you very attractive, so maybe, you know, maybe me and you can go out and have dinner. And I kept pressing and talking, and she was laughing and like kind of enjoying it. It was fun. So what ended up happening is he got furious, and he jumps up from the table, jumps up from his chair, runs halfway around the table, but then stopped at the end of the table. Like he wanted someone to hold him back, but nobody held him back. So he just like, "Ugh," and then got up and walked back to his seat. It was kind of embarrassing. So he walks back to his seat, sits down, and 2 hands later dumps $3,000 trying to bluff to this little guy from Thailand right next to me. And it was like the best poker moment because he steams off. Little Thailand doubles his stack to like, it was like $8,000. The little guy from Thai like takes $100 out and tosses a chip at me and was like, thank you. And it felt so good. Like he appreciated that I tilted that player so bad that he was like, you know, here you go. And the third one has to deal with the bad beat. I think I was playing 50 cents a 100 NL, so 50 cents a dollar for those non-online players. 50 cents a dollar with like $100 on the table at a game in the Lower East Side, and I'm playing the game, and everybody knows at the time that I was teaching psychology and so on and so forth. I'm in a game, and some guy lost, I think it was like $33 or something, like $34 in a pot. He looks down, looks around, threw all the chips off the table, took the table, flipped it, walked into the corner of the room, got into a ball, and started crying. If you're watching this, I apologize for telling you. He started literally, like, tears were bawling out of his eyes. Everybody's looking at each other like, what the fuck? And they're like, Blake, you deal with it. And now, while I do teach psychology, I'm not a clinician, so I'm not trained to, like, deal with people. But I walked over to the guy, and basically, like, everything, like, he lost his job that week. His girlfriend like cheated on him or something like that, and like he wasn't talking to his brother, and like all these things were going on, and losing that $33 was like that last feather on the, you know, I don't know what the analogy is, but last feather on the stack or whatever, and just pushed him over, and he went crazy. It was a good story. All right, I'll come up with some. I have a lot of stories, but those are my those are my favorite. I like them a lot. If you have any stories of your own, let me know. Repost them. I'm always interested in hearing no bad beat stories, just like poker themed kind of stories. I appreciate those. All right.